Got it.
All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and get started. We'll start with introductions. We kind of go around the room, say who we are. So I'm Robert Foster. I'm current NMSEA president.
I'm Marlene Brown. I am a lifetime member and involved, well, used to be president, past president of NMSEA, and I teach global physics at CNM, Central College. I'm the only accredited program in the state. Yay! Yeah. You're not.
We're going this
Oh.
way. Mike Ryan, I'm also a lifetime member here in Albuquerque. Thank you for since 1992.
Larry James, I'm a lifetime member, but I'm a long time. Bruce Davis, lifetime member, but also a 1 year architect.
We're in Albuquerque.
First Santa Fe, and then 25 years.
I'm Bruce Dunn. I was a lifetime member, member of chair races back in 1967. Been involved with.
Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and go. Sorry. I think it priest to do the former president. And I brought back some, that's right, one sides, single-sided for you to peruse. They're all on passive solar. I am now carbon-free, dry, live, everything without gas. Use solar for heating water, solar for making my electricity. Drive electric. Drove all the way across the country this year, all the way from Maine to San Diego. So it's electric. So I am truly giving everybody.
Hey, Julie's there.
I'm going to speak a public safety announcement, public service announcement, and pass that around on 10 reasons to keep ice. Ice in your internal combustion engine. So, love to stay with you guys. This is the best organization I've ever. So much sway and so many reasons. I'm very grateful. I had an appointment that I already did.
Hi.
All my life.
Thank you.
And I'm not running for anything this year.
Great, well, we'll nominate you.
Hopefully ever again.
Time to volunteer.
Well, board, past board member, I was actually member of, NMSEA. Fine, something like that. Before I moved out of state for. Still interested. Oh, I have a bolt. So I'm very happy with. Lee Stevens, for you. I, long term, and Bridgers, former vice president, been around solar. Not a member.
Steve Williams, the secretary.
Oh, okay.
Mary MacArthur, I go with Matt, some of you coming from Solar GS, of the late aughts. Lifetime member, program director, a lot did, organize the classes that Marlene and Robert. Really heavily involved, but I remember you.
I'm Greg Crabtree. College. Handful.
Lynn, Vice President. Joaquin Karcha, design. I call myself a zero energy designer. I'm from Taos. I have been passive solar Adobe world for a very long time. Now, since the past 15 years, I've been involved with passive house movement. Um, and I think that's all I have to say. And then I live in Taos. I live in Taos, and I have a short presentation that I brought with me for 10 minutes, and that I put together on very short notice. Hopefully, we'll have the time to kind of, I can show you a little bit what I'm doing.
I'm Walter Gerstel, the treasurer of this organization. A member since 2020. And next, Mark, you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, let's finish.
Oh, sorry.
Couple people.
My name.
Okay. Different Mark.
Oh, we have a few more people first. Sure. My name is Troy McGee. I'm a member. I've been active with NMSEA for about a decade. I also work as a liaison with the Industry Association, the Renewable Energy Industry Association of New Mexico. And then I have a business, What's Up New Mexico, and I'll give you a presentation about community solar later in the meeting. Hi everyone, my name is really fighting against Laura, I do a lot of designing residential, commercial subdivision projects, as well as some small scale solar. Right now I'm waiting to work with large business customers who all also have solar projects that supplement their energy. So looking forward to
I'm still looking. We had a sold house.
Oh.
Wow, which those guys. My name is just.
Yeah.
As a solar house on Bedrock.
All right, we'll do this.
Mark, your turn. Mark Shalom.
Oh, okay. Mark Challam. I'm a retired environmental architect. I was part of the Ambient Conference. I'm a lifetime member of NMSEA and one of the founders.
Steffi, you're next.
I'm Steffi Weisberg, a former board member of NMSEA. I do a lot of work with 350, and I also do all the Facebook for NMSEA.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. James Stewart.
Hey, okay, so I am not a member of this organization, but my wife has been very active in the Sierra Club, and you people do a lot of combined events with them sometimes, at different tables. And she had mentioned to one of you about my solar do-it-yourself solar air heater project, and you people were very interested in it. So I eventually completed a little video of it that I sent to basically your organization, and I think it was a Greg that responded and invited me to this meeting. So here I am, and I'm here to answer any questions or whatever you might have at it. And I'm assuming you people might be interested in getting me more involved in your organization, which looks like a pretty good organization.
Okay, Mark Haas, want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Mark Hawes. I'm president of the Tesla Owners Club of New Mexico, but please don't hold that against me. I'm an electric car enthusiast. So I also have a solar system, interested, not a member of your organization, but very interested in finding out more about it and getting more involved. Also, James, could you mute? Oh, you did mute yourself because you keep on popping back onto the screen when you're not muted. So anyway, I'm happy to be here and learn more about you. Thank you.
Charlie Schultz.
Hey everybody, I'm Charlie Schultz. I serve as Academic Director for Controlled Environment Agriculture at Santa Fe Community College. Our campus is solar fueled. We have a microgrid on campus, and we teach and utilize passive solar principles for heating a greenhouse, nighttime cooling of the greenhouse. So I'm probably the newest member of this organization as a result of the Ambient Energy Conference in Ghost Ranch. Mark Challam encouraged me to be involved. I also want to say I appreciate the accessibility for educators to be a member as an educator. There was no cost. So I joined the organization. I've been promoting this organization to my students over the last year.
Thank you. Jill Kleiber.
Yeah, so I'm Jill Clyburn. Right now, I've got 1 foot in New Mexico and 1 foot in Illinois, which is probably a little strange, and I can explain that later. But I've been a very long-term member of the New Mexico Solar Energy Association and also very active in ACES. In fact, probably put most of my attention to ACES as a board member, conference chair, awards chair, and all that kind of stuff. But I've been spending my working career on all aspects of clean energy. So I've done work with buildings and demand response and efficiency, and then also a great concentration on community solar, large scale solar, and all that. So I'm just really happy that Robert twisted my arm to come.
Thanks a lot. Luther Kruger.
Hello, greetings from right now helicopter-free Minneapolis. I think the ICE people got the message from the judge yesterday. Thank you very much. Anyway, life member of NMSEA. Spent several vacations in the Albuquerque area with relatives. Been collecting and using and promoting solar cooking for 20 years. I have a YouTube channel. I'll put it in the chat. And I also just started a Substack newsletter to get people the latest up-to-date stuff happening in the solar cooking world. And I think I joined the board a year and a half ago, I forget. So talking about 1 foot in Minnesota and 1 foot in New Mexico, that's me, and hopefully both feet will be there in about a year and a half when we hope to relocate to the Albuquerque area.
Did we miss anybody else from online? I don't think so.
Dan Antonio, is he with us?
I don't see Dan. Okay, Dan was on an airplane or something like that, so.
Oh,
he
okay.
may not be able to attend.
Great. Well, welcome everyone. Glad you could make it out on a Saturday. We only meet like this once a year, and then a few events. This past year, we're kind of in a rebuilding phase. Some of our main programs this past year was, we tabled at several events, like the
Oh, yeah, let me bring up, on the screen some,
three,
share.
350, 360.
But not was like an Earth Day.
We were at the Earth Day event. We'll be at the Earth Day again. Walter's actually on the Earth Day Planning Committee as well for Albuquerque. And we were co-sponsor to the Ghost Ranch Conference that the University of Louisville kind of led the passive solar conference. So it was great to see people there. Kind of old timers reunion.
Here I've got some stuff on the
There's Sunday.
screen. Okay.
Okay, there's the Sunday. I live in Las Cruces, so I'm not always able to attend events in Albuquerque. I'm often working overseas too, so.
So yeah, going backwards, we participated in Sunday, which was a very nice event. Couple hundred people showed up. There were 30,000 people at the football game on that weekend as well, so this worked. And then we had this wonderful Ghost Ranch. Robert, you want to talk about the Ghost Ranch?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. We had this really great pizza dinner at Mark Shalom's house overlooking Elvado Reservoir, and a 3-day conference at the Ghost Ranch, which was on passive solar thermal type things. We had a really nice field trip to the Rio Grande Community Farm, led by
Brian Naughton.
Brian Naughton. And they have a really wonderful comparison of agrivoltaics with and without panels. Turns out that the plants did just fine underneath the panels, maybe even better than the ones that were not under the panels. There's Brian. And then here's Steve McWilliams. We went to his house. He has an agrivoltaic backyard, so to speak. That was a really interesting look at agrivoltaics. Steve also has a smart flower that tracks the sun very precisely to generate electricity. We had a renewable energy day at Albuquerque High School, where we taught 6 classes and also had an EV car show, and we had solar baked cookies and hot dogs for the students. I think that's the main thing the students really liked. But maybe they took something away regarding renewable energy. So it was a fun day. We participated in Earth Day at the Balloon Fiesta Park. Here is, let's see, Robert and Greg, I think, is there, and Steve McWilliams. Not sure if I see this carefully.
And you.
And me. And we're going to participate again this year in Earth Day on April 26th. Hopefully some of you will be able to come to that event as well. And then, we participated in Renewable Energy Day at the Roundhouse. Here's Steve McWilliams, and Troy was there as well. And I was there, and I think a few other people might have been there as well. And then, and we will be participating again on February 5th at the Roundhouse for the Environment Day there, and have a table and talk to some of the legislators there. So that basically, and also we had a table at a recent health event on December 5th recently, where candidates for the governor spoke about their ideas for renewable energy and the environment. So I think we had a very nice year. Also, a couple of us attended the ACES National Conference in Boulder. Robert was there, I was there. Maybe
Bruce was there.
Bruce Hung was there, yeah.
That's actually where we twisted his arm
to join us. Yeah. So I think we had a very nice year, and the great thing is that we got a new president, Robert Foster, so it's great to have you here.
Okay.
Yeah, Robert.
Hello. So yeah, it's been a good year. I think what we'll do now is go over kind of the state of the organization, finances, membership. And Walter's the keeper of the books.
Okay, let me bring up report. I think this is the one, I hope. Yeah, okay. And I think I need to share the screen, right?
You should, yeah, I don't. Maybe
If I
everybody
can figure out how to do.
Well, for the
they
people
can't,
on.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so just briefly, we're doing very well financially. This is just a snapshot of our accounts. We have $36,449 total in cash. This shows our bank balance at New Sandus starting in 2019 when I started as the treasurer. You can see that it jumped up quite a lot in 2020. I think we got some contributions from City of Albuquerque and other sources, including ACES, because we hosted their conference. And so we did pretty well there. And then in the recent years, it's been hovering around $36,000. This shows our bank balance just for the year 2025. It's been hovering around $37,000. This big drop is a $1,000 payment for the storage shed, which is our major expense. We also spent about $1,000 with Greg refurbishing our Sun Chaser and our Villager solar cooker. And
Much needed.
Much needed. Major expenses were the storage shed, $1,350. Sun Chaser and Villager was about $1,000 for maintenance and upgrades. Insurance, we're paying $758 for directors' insurance. Web hosting is $325. The post office box rental is $210. Total income was about $3,000. Major sources were memberships, ACES memberships. We have two ways to become a member, one through our webpage and one as a joint ACES and New Mexico member. And then we had some donations here that helped us out. Here's our membership report. This probably too small to see, but starting in 2020 here, the green, those are active memberships. The red are expired memberships. So we can see that we're a lot of people have not been renewing online. And so then we have to probably work on that and remind people that if they want to be a member, they need to keep up. So that's it. Any questions?
Have you been reminding folks?
Okay.
Have you been folks of their membership? I know that when I was president, folks would tell me I would renew my membership if people reminded me. So I think it's a good thing to keep.
Yeah, and I would suggest, I'm kind of overwhelmed being treasurer and membership person. So I'd like to rope somebody in on the board to help me with the memberships. I finally learned how to deal with our online membership thing, so I can easily transfer that information to whoever wants to take care of it.
I think they get an email.
Well,
They get an automatic email, but it's not clear to me whether they're actually getting it or not. So
Yes, we don't.
Lois.
So I have what I think is a really great idea. And that is that we encourage, requests that the, solar companies would offer to their customers. If you sign on with a system, that the, company, the solar company would pay half of your membership if you would pay the other half. I think that would boost membership a lot, but that's my view.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm also active with the ACES committee, membership committee, so we've been
Do
discussing.
they do that?
We're talking about trying to get business members to actually just gift a ACES membership.
Yeah, either way, I mean, whatever, some way it could easily be tagged in with the system.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's a good idea. Any other comments on the treasurer or membership?
Is there a way to get rid of the storage shelter? Like really what's in there?
Not really. All our stuff is there.
If somebody's got a farm and got an extra barn, we could put it there. That's about it.
But Greg did a wonderful job of cleaning up and organizing the shed. So it has a lot of books and equipment.
We're in the middle of a meeting, I'm just gonna like. put it down.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so yeah, that's, I would say NMSEA is holding steady. And you know, the one thing I think we really need to do is reach out more to, you know, not so much the graybeards. Get some of the students involved. I'm also, we have a ACES student chapter at New Mexico State, which I helped start, but they had already existed, so I'd love to see UNM, maybe some of the other schools.
Yeah, I think you guys, like, I guess I keep forgetting or really don't know about the free memberships for students. So I'll talk to my students now about it, but I don't know, it needs to be more. Marketing is, I know you guys are overwhelmed, trust me, but anyway, information isn't really out there, so I'll talk to my students. Can I just ask how many memberships there are?
Oh, how many members?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have about 120 non-expired members and about an equal amount of expired members. So total on our email list is about 220, 230 people.
We have about what, 70 life?
Yeah, quite a few life members of many may have expired already. I mean,
Not like.
died already. I
I
don't.
mean, people?
So there may be people that are not there. I don't know. I know Bill Gross, for instance, is no longer alive. He was a very important member
Yeah.
of our society.
You know, when I joined as a life member of NMSEA, I thought I was guaranteed immortality. I thought that was right.
It's part of it.
All right, well, let's move on. Our next item of business is we're voting for new board members. So Walter, Greg, Troy, me, we're all rolling over to this year. But we have a few vacancies. And so Marquez is nominated, recommended by the board, as is Jill. And so
And Joaquin.
oh, Joaquin, okay.
And also, I think you left Greg, I'm sorry, Steve McWilliams is a board member currently.
Yeah, well, he's staying on the board.
And Luther Kruger.
And Luther's staying on the board another year.
Anybody else we missed that's on the board?
See if anybody wants.
Yeah, we'll.
Yeah, get there. I see.
Are you volunteering?
No, absolutely.
So
self-nominate too, right?
yeah, if anybody's interested in serving on the board, even though I think half the room is former board members.
Anybody online?
Anybody online or in the room. So we're open to nominations. So Jill and Marquez are on the board, so we're glad to have a non-gray hair person. And we're glad to have a female. So maybe you want to say a few words, if you want to.
Sure. Well, thank you everyone for nominating me. This was a great honor. I've spoke with many people at A&M, and we've had a long working collaboration with NMSEA. So that would be the goal of mine, is to continue that and help as much as I can.
Great, we look forward to further collaborating, having more. Jill, would you like to say anything?
Yes.
Those aren't that you served 1 year.
I'm just actually, those of us on Zoom are trying to figure out that we're seeing a graph of solar production for something. So I'm a little confused with that.
Hold on a second, Jill. Walters.
Okay.
Okay. Try now.
Can you show Jill on the screen, Walter?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't need to. I'm in the gallery. That's okay. I think the graph was like distracting. But this is what else we're looking at, so that's cool. Yeah, so I've never been a board member of the New Mexico ACES, but as I said, I've been involved with New Mexico and solar and clean energy since the 80s and lived there since the mid 90s. We recently moved back to Illinois, which was my starting place. But we still have a little property there in New Mexico and lots of friends and lots of commitment. When I was in New Mexico most recently, my projects had to do with community solar and also with the large scale solar siting. I know I ran into Steffi quite a bit and a few of you others. I had an NREL project for quite a while on solar plus storage for electric co-ops. My main client base for my company, which is Clyburn and Associates, has been electric co-ops and public power, including I actually worked at the power utility in Farmington at one time. They're even, but I over to all
Jill,
together.
we're losing you. You have a bad connection.
Association because my internet's funky. Anyway, so my commitment is to bringing all the pieces of the puzzle together in terms of buildings and energy in the home and energy from the utility perspective and the policy, all these pieces. People like to define ACES both nationally and on a state level, based on what they happen to be involved in. And I think it's great that we accommodate that at the same time as we have these cross silo conversations. So in terms of why would I be on the board, definitely have thought about that because I am at somewhat of a disadvantage day to day, and I'm happy to be in Illinois. Actually, we have some things that we could learn and share across the miles. But clearly, after all of these decades of being involved in ACES and in solar in New Mexico, I see a real need to create the next generation. So I told Robert, my long-term objective is to do myself out of a position and to empower more new ideas and younger people who can carry the organization forward. So that's my story.
Thank you, Jill. Jill was with me on the ACES board, so I have every confidence. Do you have any words?
Yeah, so this is Joaquin. I have not been on many boards so far, but I was part of the New Mexico Green Building Council when it first started. And I would like, and this board, I would like to help with the energy transition away from fossil fuels to renewable energy, and particularly decarbonizing the building sector, the new construction, and also the existing building stock. And I would see my role as somebody who maybe can bring a different perspective to the table, and also help to recruit, hopefully, some young people. We need to have I feel like the traditional solar energy conversation needs to shift. I think we need to have a broader image about what it is that we want to do. I feel like sustainability has been a word that has been used a lot. And I think we need some new perspectives there, and particularly around climate change, around climate change mitigation, and around decarbonizing in a bigger picture, not just solar. So that's what I would like to bring to the table and contribute. If you guys feel like this would be worthwhile, then I would like to work with you guys.
Great, appreciate it.
And Joaquin, we also need more representation in other counties besides Bernalillo and Sandoval.
Yeah,
So you're being in northern New Mexico.
Right.
We need more geographical representation.
yeah, and I'm thinking of UNM. Actually, UNM Taos has a construction class, so to speak, Adobe mainly. And I think there are students there, and I'd be happy to. I think I've been always working as an architectural designer, and I'm working with my colleagues, with a team of architects and so forth. But we need to go out there and promote. We need to reach people. We're in such dire straits in terms of the climate, and in terms of, I mean, make no mistake, we're under attack. We're under attack.
Solar is definitely under attack.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
but despite, this is like my fourth downhill on the roller coaster ride over the last 40 years. It's, solar's grown 30%, well, PV, a year for the last 30 years. So, it's not going away, just growing, but we could make it grow faster. So, is anyone else interested in serving on the board?
Marquez, are you gonna give a spiel about?
He just did.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, at any time, if somebody feels like they want to be on the board, just let us know.
Remind me, how many positions do we have?
We've got 3 nominations, where we've got 3, we actually have more, but 3 positions we're looking for right now. So,
Well, we have, I think, 6 people on the board now. We can have up to 18 according to our bylaws. So
yeah,
anybody wants to join us, there's plenty of room.
yeah, we got 2 leaving the board who hadn't been very active, so.
And then could somebody review the requirements for being on the board?
So
Like
I read the handbook this morning. Basically, you just have to have an interest, and you not have, I guess, that's, and be voted in.
And then
Be an adult.
Yeah.
Over 18.
Well, and then there's requirements for attendance for board
Yeah, you
meetings.
have to attend the board meetings, which are monthly meetings. They're on Zoom these days. And if you miss more than 2 in a row, you start to be on our questionable list. So we'd like you to participate.
And if you can't attend, communicate and there's a great understanding.
Yeah, if you're not able to attend, let me know ahead of time.
Yeah. Right.
I'll excuse you. I attend from all over the world.
I presume you have to pay your dues too.
Oh, well, you should be an
Should be
NMSEA
a
member. Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
So,
and also it says, officers are supposed to be member ACEs at the same time.
yeah,
It's not necessarily strictly.
But they can be funded to join ACES as an officer.
yeah, we have them. Thanks to the solar conference, ACES conference here, that was a big financial boom for us. So, all right, so, do I have a nomination for Joaquin, Jill, and Marquez to serve on the
I'll nominate
board?
all of them.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay. Any discussion?
Hooray.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, motion passes unanimously.
For all three.
All right, congratulations. Look forward to working with you guys. Thank you, Jill. You can see you're not the only one who has a foot in and out in New Mexico, but I guarantee you, your foot in Illinois is much colder than the one in New Mexico. Same with Luther. Okay, well, then, we'll get into our program, which is Troy. We'll be talking about community solar. And I believe you do a lot of the community solar. I know you work with Luis.
Yeah.
Luis was my former staffer. So, he can tell you more stories. And I can tell you more stories.
Robert, I'll switch this place.
By the way, also Joaquin has a presentation.
Okay, let's get through Troy and then see where we are in time and.
Or,
Do you have a presentation?
oh, Troy, you want me to put?
Yes. And for time, I am very flexible. I can share my time with Joaquin. Or I can, so should I shoot for 20 minutes or less?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you were on the.
I'm trying to remember, where did we put your
I'll
presentation?
find 20 minutes. I think you put it on your desktop, I believe.
Is this it?
Nope.
He's got a slideshow, so it's a powerful.
It may be behind your screen.
Yeah, you might have to.
It's the bottom, it says progress in.
This one?
Yes,
Oh, there we go.
thank you.
Don't forget to share it.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's shared now.
Okay.
It's shared.
Yeah, just let me know when you want me to.
Thanks. Okay, yeah, next.
You can minimize all those people
Yeah.
on the left.
How do I?
Right there.
Yeah, I thought you were just on.
Oh, you were almost there. Okay,
Oh,
now you don't have to presentation. Try it again. Go back to us in the picture. Picture of it, okay, and then just right there.
That upper left, that one slash,
Left,
right, that,
right there.
that's,
Oh.
there you go.
sorry.
So in ordering what I wanted to say about community solar, the first thing I want to say from experience is this is not rooftop solar. This is not solar on your property. Okay. Meaning,
The whole row.
great. This is not solar that you own. Community solar is they're bigger projects that households and businesses are able to subscribe to. And that's often one of the first misconceptions is when we talk about community solar, as a lot of people associate it with solar that they have to put on their property, that they have to get permits for, that they have to use tax credits for, that they have to finance. So it's relatively different. And I just want to start with this slide to make that very clear that it's not solar on your property. Some other key things is you don't need a good roof. You don't even need to own a roof. You do need to be electricity ratepayer or somebody who receives a bill for one of the 3 investor-owned utilities, PNM, Excel Energy, and El Paso Electric. solar that you own or solar that's on your premises has to be financed in some way. Those financing mechanisms are tricky and have some risk. They're often used by people that have the ability that have tax equity, or they have a tax that they can use the tax credits. Community solar, you can be a disabled veteran and have no tax credits and get the same benefit or get the benefits of community solar without having without using tax credits. Community solar, for the state has required that low income participants can't have a cancellation fee or penalty. And then the market or popularity has led to all of the methods of getting community solar that there's not a cancellation for regular homeowners as well. Okay, next slide. So my background is I've been an advocate for community solar in New Mexico for about 8 years, along with 100 other people have provided education and promoted the policy to get to the community solar program we have today. I worked for a community solar company in Colorado. I've done community solar in Colorado, Minnesota, and New Mexico before New Mexico's programs got started. And I started a business called What's Up New Mexico. But there are other very good sources for information about community solar. And the one that I endorse the most is the Coalition of Sustainable Communities New Mexico. And they have great information about New Mexico's community solar program. For me to give a presentation is a little bit superfluous to the great information that they already have. And so I just wanted to give credit to the Coalition of Sustainable Community. But then for sure, as I give my presentation about community solar, it's a little bit more from the perspective of focused on the subscription side and maybe a little bit more of a focus of the user's experience or a subscriber's experience. But here's their definition from their website about community solar. Community solar helps communities, individuals, and organizations throughout New Mexico to benefit from the development of solar energy facilities. It provides solar energy savings to families regardless of income or building ownership, and will further development strong renewable energy industry and related jobs in New Mexico. And then there is a link there to their website about community solar. So nationally, there's the Coalition for Community Solar Access. They advocate nationally, and they've helped a lot with New Mexico's policy and helped a lot with us getting community solar to where it is today. They've been a part of it, using a lot of local resources too. So here's their definition, and here's a link to their website. Next. One thing I love about community solar is it just works. There's a lot of things about rooftop solar that are dependent on a lot of things. A big part of, well, right now, the investment tax credits have gone away for residential solar. Community solar is still going strong and does not need the investment tax credits or ITC. To do solar where you own it, you need a way of financing it. To benefit from community solar, you do not need any money. To benefit from community solar, you do not need a roof. Maybe it's a little bit of a contemporary meme, but a lot of people say, you know, the honey badger don't care. So a lot of things, lions, porcupines, stinging bees, the honey badger doesn't care. It just goes forward and does what it wants to do. It's got that kind of attitude. I feel like community solar has kind of got the honey badger attitude. These things nationally can happen, problems can happen, but community solar just moves forward. So I don't know, does anybody else see that as an entertaining analogy? But yeah. Thanks for yeah. Community solar, it has been a process. I mean, one of the benefits of community solar is the projects do get developed and implemented faster than utility scale. But looking at the timeline, you can see it's not a quick thing. And also in New Mexico, this has been our pilot. 26 other states have adopted community solar, and New Mexico borrowed a lot of knowledge from other states. But it still took us like 4 years to kind of get things rolling, to get the bill credits finalized and get the program rolling. You can see in the current state rules, we have phase one and we have phase two of the program. An interesting thing to point out is that phase one is 200 megawatts and it's often called pilot phase. And so, yes, we've had some things to figure out. We've had some bumpy implementation, but right now we're in the middle of phase one with projects being constructed. Last year, there were it's about 7 or 9 projects were energized. And this quarter, we'll hit about 19 projects energized in the state. Phase two has been approved. The RFP will be coming middle of this year or towards the end of this year. And construction on phase two projects should start in 2027. Phase two of the state's program is 50% larger, so it'll be 300 megawatts. There's also some attempts moving forward to expedite an additional 100 megawatts going to the wait list from phase one. So we'll see if that happens. So great. Any questions on the timeline, folks? Okay, thanks. The three key benefits I really wanted to home in on is community solar has easy savings, it makes local jobs, and it generates clean energy. If these are things that you don't like, you can probably tune out for the next 20 minutes. Thanks. So to illustrate easy savings, there is a lot of complexity in how the savings works. And my job is to make that seem as easy as possible. So this illustration here may be an oversimplification. It's also nice to use an example of a $100 electricity bill. And a lot of how community solar works, it's made to balance out over the year. The Coalition of Sustainable Communities has some great illustrations of how things balance out over a year. But as an oversimplification, let's say a customer has a $100 electricity bill for their old bill. If they move to community solar, their electricity bill would be reduced by about $70 or about 70%. They would still pay an electricity bill to the investor-owned utility. And then 1 or 2 months later, they'll receive a subscription charge or a community solar bill from the subscription manager for their subscription, and it would have a discount. If you're an income qualified household, you'd have a discount of about 28 to 30% on that subscription, or a discount on your solar credit. So if you're getting a $70 solar credit applied to your bill and you're an income qualified home, then your subscription charge would be about $50. So instead of $100, you would now pay a net cost of $80 for your electricity bill in this example month, which would give you a savings of about $20. And this certainly can fluctuate. What's nice is the way that it's worked out with subscriptions in New Mexico is you will have a percentage discount on what you pay for your subscription. And that discount is locked in. So if the cost of electricity goes up or goes down, but believe me, the cost of electricity always goes up, your discount is locked. So if cost of electricity goes up, the way that you're saving goes up with it. If there's a fluke reason the electricity goes down, like we have a depression, then what you pay for your subscription will also go down proportionately. So that's a very good simplification. Here, next slide. I like to give the metaphor that this is like a discount program. Who here's been to Costco and has seen that you can get gift cards for places that you're already spending money? One that I bought this holiday season, maybe not great, is we bought discount cards for Jiffy Lube. We always take our cars to get Jiffy Lube. The way that we choose to pay for our maintenance for our cars there. And so for us, our family budget, it's an unavoided cost. If you knew that you were always going to California Pizza Kitchen each month, it would be silly not to use Costco and get a gift card that gives you a discount when you go to California Pizza Kitchen. You could see community solar in the subscription model with a discount as the same way. Certainly, you can go to California Pizza Kitchen and not get a discount card, but it's yeah. And community solar is even better because you sign up one time and you pay the discount on your subscription after you've already gotten the credit on your electricity bill. So for me, that's a kind of a good metaphor. It's like a discount card. There's a more detailed illustration on the Coalition of Sustainable Communities website about how your community solar bill and your electricity bill, how they look different of your electricity bill before solar. And then if you want to go even more deeper than this, I have some very, I can get really in deep with you, or a lot of businesses need to see all the numbers. Myself, and for our business, we can certainly show any business, any municipality, exactly how this works for their numbers, exactly how this works monthly, and show them the calculations and where all the numbers come from to calculate your savings for community solar. Thanks. My next key point is local jobs. A single 5 megawatt project, and in the state's program, this worked out to about 40 to about 40 community solar projects if they were all 5 megawatts. As it worked out, some projects are not a full 5 megawatts. And so in the state's program for phase one, there are 47 projects in the current program. But if you looked at you focused on the maximum size of a community solar project is 5 megawatts. And wow, I got a typo up there. It says NW instead of MW, sorry. This would create about 37 direct and indirect jobs. About half those jobs would be direct, meaning with a construction company, a civil engineering company, with a developer, a designer, and about the other half of those are indirect. Those are from subscriber aggregators like the work that I do. These could be jobs in the community. This could be jobs at hotels or food that provide food for the workers and those indirect jobs. So phase one of the state program should create about 1,480 jobs. Phase two of the state program should create about 2,220 jobs. And I get these numbers from a report that was done by the University of New Mexico, and there's a link to the reference. Thanks. The same study done by a report by the University of New Mexico shows that a single 5 megawatt project makes about $5 million in economic impact over 5 years. This has a lot of factors, and these factors can vary, but this is the calculated economic impact for each 5 megawatt project. And next. Well, and I guess I kind of missed the point, but if there's you look at the total impact of phase, well, go back a slide, please. So the total impact for New Mexico, it will fade this chart here from the New York UNM study shows 100 megawatts, but that shows that the economic impact of phase one is about $1 billion. Thank you. For climate benefits, you can break this down, and I have the ability to give a report for each home or each business that does this, what their impact is in carbon reduction. From the Coalition of Sustainable Community, they already had a slide on the total impact of a 5 megawatt project, but it's equivalent to about removing 800 gasoline cars from the road for 1 year. And it's about 3,800 metric tons of CO2 avoided. And that is if this electricity was made from fossil fuels. I do want to point out that this covers 3 investor-owned utilities, and PNM today even has a website where you can see as of the day how much electricity came from renewables. And right now it's running like 85 to 95%. Merche, does that seem correct? Yeah, well, they do have, and unfortunately, they have a website that makes it easy to track exactly where they are for the day for renewable energy. But I think that's worth pointing out that our utilities are doing a pretty good job. but this is a way to accelerate it. The next key is all right, if community solar sounds great, it's a easy way to save money. It makes local jobs, it makes clean energy. How do we participate? And the Coalition of Sustainable Communities, again, is my reference. They've just now implemented these tools that you see here, where you can check your low income or your income qualification. Right there, very easy. Otherwise, you'd have to look up Department of Housing tables. And then on the right, you can actually put in your utility, and then it'll show you what subscriber managers you can enroll with. Very easy way, and I'd recommend take a look at this. This is the way to go. If you have more complicated questions, call me at What's Up New Mexico, or there's other resources that you can call. But that coalition makes it very easy. So there's been lots of benefits. So phase one of the program has created lots of benefits, lots of savings, lots of access to solar. It's benefited landowners. It's helped the state with its Energy Transition Act. Lots of benefits. But I do also want to point out there's been some challenges. This is a pilot program with the state. One of the key challenges that I'm dealing with is one of the key challenges that I'm dealing with was the RFP by the state and regulated by the Public Regulatory Commission. It awarded points for using local providers, or they call this local preference. The bids that were submitted they pledged to use local services. When this comes to subscription work, a lot of this has been done by out-of-state companies. My business, What's Up New Mexico, particularly feels pain with this as we see subscriber managers continue to subscribe with out-of-state companies that bring in sales teams that don't pay their taxes in New Mexico, aren't from New Mexico, and often they don't know the nuances of the state program, and they're fully commission-based. So they'll sell or do whatever needs to be said to get subscriptions. There are certainly some good players in this also, like Prosperity Works, like Sovereign Energy, and there are other, and my business, What's Up New Mexico, that are very New Mexican based, help with this and are involved in the policy. So some good and bad. Thanks. And then here's kind of our call to action. So what we can do is, if you don't have solar on your home already, and you pay an electricity bill with one of the 3 investor-owned utilities, you should enroll your home. If you have a business, or you know somebody else that has a business, if you don't own your own, if you don't already have renewable energy on that business, you should enroll your business. We should spread the word. You should share the information from the Coalition of Sustainable Communities New Mexico, and you can participate in making the rules for phase 2 better. And then here's a link again to the Coalition of Sustainable Communities New Mexico. That concludes the body of my presentation. And I'd certainly like to take some time. Are we on time?
I think
Maybe we got about 7 minutes for questions, and we don't have to use all those 7 minutes.
what is our limit here? Is it 1 or 1:30? How long?
I don't know, I'll find out.
Yeah.
It also takes some time for them to remove us each one by one.
Okay. I have a question.
Yes,
So if you are not income qualified, how much does it cost you?
sure. You'll save 10% on your solar credits. Your solar credits cover about 70% of your electricity bill. So that would be, you'd save about 7% on your electricity bill.
So you sign up and it won't cost you anything.
Correct. Signing up does not cost anything, but it will cost you a subscription payment. But
And
that,
will the payment ever be more than what you say?
not in a year, the way it balances out, but you could have a fluke month like May. Say you're using no heating and no cooling in May, but the sun is cranky. You may generate more credits from your participating in the production of the solar farm that month. And it may cost you more than your Keenan bill cost you the May before. but those credits belong to you and carry over on your bill. And so throughout the year, there's no conceivable way that you would not save money. But month to month, you may get, and also look, this is like anytime you pay $70 to your community solar subscription, you're getting, well, if you're low income, you're getting about $100 out. If you're not low income, you're getting about, what, $77 out. So there is a monthly example, there could be a fluke and you would get more of a credit that would carry over. But there is no conceivable way that you would not lose money on community solar because it's giving you a discount on credits that you are using. Also, let's say, for example, what if you disappeared and left the utility? Then you would, once you stop receiving electric utility bill, then that also ends your subscription because you can only have a subscription for credits that you've already received on your electricity bill.
Who administers?
Great question.
Who administers that? Who sends out the bill?
The subscriber manager sends you a bill for your community solar subscription. And then the utility, sorry if I'm pointing, the utility records and handles a credit for your subscription on your electricity bill.
Steffi has a question.
Does that answer your question though?
Yeah, so they communicate?
They do. By the state program, the rules are that they communicate about what your production and what your subscription, what your credit is. Mm-hmm. Yes. Steffi?
I had heard some talk about possibly blending the two bills so people don't get in. So do you know of any movement this legislative session to change that?
Great question. Yeah, in New Mexico, the program we have now, they call it a dual billing program. And that is a bit, I would say, if anybody says, what's the downside or the disadvantage or what's the gotcha? The gotcha is that you will have a second bill in our program. Some others, I think maybe most other states have adopted unified billing? Good grief, I'm having a little stage fright. I think they call it unified billing, where the utility that you already has both collects your subscription and reports your credit all on one bill. And so there's not a second bill. And I don't know if the legislative session has something about this, but there is rulemaking for phase 2 of the program that's going on now. I believe that there's many parties involved in providing community solar. Most parties really want unified billing. Most parties want unified billing, and it's very popular, and it certainly helps with adoption. And so I think it's very, if you want to get involved in that in helping, I would recommend getting in touch with me or getting in touch with the Renewable Energy Industry Association of New Mexico or other parties that are working on the rulemaking. Get with the Coalition of Sustainable Communities. There have been many working groups that we're all involved in to try to get unified billing.
Bruce has a question.
Yeah, you said there are 7 community solar projects in New Mexico in phase 1. Where are they located?
Sure, there are 7 that are currently energized now. There are going to be 47, and they're uniquely all across the state. I do have a map. Maybe I could show you offline, but there's a map on my website, and the Coalition of Sustainable Communities also has a map. I'm not sure if it's all up to date. The 7 that are powered on right now, I know that there's one in Belen that is next to the airport in Belen. It's powered on. It was the first one that was powered on last year.
I think there's 3 of them.
Yeah, there's several, maybe 3 that are powered on.
There's at least 2 on, I think 3 are on.
Yeah.
That area.
And then I know that one of the projects by Las Vegas, New Mexico, that was built by Pluma Construction is powered on also. But yeah, there's a handful that are powered on, several more to come. Yeah.
Great, did you find out?
Did I hear you correctly? You said there were 19 so far this year?
We're really close. There are 7 that are energized this year. So built
and powered on
in 2025.
thank you, in 2025.
Right.
And then I think there's gonna be like 17 or 19 that'll be energized or powered on in the first quarter of 2026. Thank you, great clarifying question.
Well, what was the answer about our time limit?
Yeah, so we have until 1:30.
Okay.
We'll try and play for 4.
And we're planning,
There's another person in the room at 2 o'clock.
we have a reservation for lunch at Relish, which is across this Manal here. It's within walking distance if anybody wants to go there. So I think our hard limit here is 1:30. We want to give Joaquin a chance to give a 10-minute presentation.
Well, before you go there, given the time limit, I just, and I'm not opposed to community solar, but I really, and I sent you an email about this. You know, I mean, I'm on my 3rd solar installation, so I'm familiar with all of that. But there are a lot of people, even if you're gonna have 47 community solar things, that some of them don't want to get into, they're very wary about the double billing, subscriber base, and this and that, the, 50 levels of integration. And they live in an apartment, or they live someplace where it's just not going to work. And so I really think that we ought to consider, and it's definitely, if you're talking about membership and getting people interested, getting a young person in an apartment interested by giving him plug-in solar is going to make an effect. It's going to move people towards that end.
But that's different than community solar.
Yes, it is.
It's like night and day.
It is, but it is another way of getting people interested in solar and making them become familiar and enticing them further down the line. Especially for the people who aren't gonna be eligible for community solar, the people who live in apartments, the people who don't want to get into all of these multiple levels of bills and contacts and managers. I just think that
Right, and you're talking about, say, they call it balcony.
that call it balcony solar, call it whatever, all I know is that only state that has proved it so far is Utah. And it's something that people can feel. We talk about ownership of your rooftop solar. They can feel an ownership because they can point to the thing that they paid. And it doesn't cost thousands of dollars.
Yeah, there's some cool, very tactical ways that'd be beneficial for the state in general, and we should all fight for policy and adopt what's been good in other states. It's pretty different, but let's take that up as something that we want to promote or talk more about for the possibility of promoting as an association. Any other questions?
Well, this, from your speech be posted on the website.
I believe it's recorded and will be posted.
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can take up some more of this conversation over lunch. But no food fights.
So Joaquin, you want to give your presentation?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Should I run?
I guess I need to share this just a minute.
And I believe you're being recorded, just.
Okay, that's fine.
Actually, no.
Okay.
No.
No?
It's not being recorded.
Oh, she set it up for auto meeting.
Oh, maybe it is. Okay. Here's, you want to,
Okay, this
It
is the
is
full.
being recorded,
it is being recorded?
Okay.
as so on our screens.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna just give you a really quick peek into the work I'm mostly interested in, or I'm involved with. I do a lot of like higher end homes and expensive projects for which decarbonizing is a piece of cake, but it's not necessarily a piece of cake when you have a normal budget, and if you are working for people that for the people for Main Street people, I want to make sure it's a particular interest of mine to make this affordable to the mainstream, to the workforce, to a policeman, to a fireman who is looking to provide a house for his family. And I believe that every new construction should be decarbonized, carbon neutral. And the challenge is how to make this affordable. I always hear that, oh my God, I would love to live in a passive house because I hear they're so comfortable and they're so awesome, but I can't afford it. And then because they think that you build a regular house and then you have all these features that you put on top of it that you have to pay for. And people don't understand that it's not like that. If you want to be very cost effective with decarbonizing and construction, then it starts with the design, and you basically have to optimize every single step along the way to get the cost down and to be basically all electric and very little electricity. So I'm gonna just and the way this is done is actually with cost shifting. So that's the difference. People don't understand what cost shifting actually means. That means if you're investing the money that you're saving in mechanical systems, because ours are super small and super simple and super cheap actually, and you take that savings and you put it in the building envelope, then you actually rule the game, because the cheapest gallon of fuel is the one you don't need. So oops, that's it.
Okay.
Control F5.
I don't, hold on.
Maybe it's in a browser too, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably. Are we still sharing?
Yeah. Oh,
Can the people online still see it?
it looks like you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, they can.
It's green.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we need to be in this to.
yeah, okay, good.
Okay.
Great. Not a computer. Yeah. So how can we meet the energy transition, which we need to accomplish within the next 10 years, considering the fact that about 40% of the US fossil fuel consumption is attributed to buildings? So this is Ed Masria, right? I mean, Ed Masria came out with this article that shook up the engineering and architects community. Who really holds the key to the global thermostat? It's the architect, stupid. That was like sometimes in the 70s. And we knew that, but I mean, and Ed actually, I think he claimed that 48% are actually attributed to buildings. So you can just imagine how much CO2 we can take out of the atmosphere if we decarbonize our building stock. So this is an example of a project that I'm doing up in Taos right now. There are 4 units. They are exactly identical. And they're on Dolan Street in Taos. 2 of them have been built. The other 2 are hopefully starting this year. They are small, efficient, very compact units of 1,000 square foot, 2 bedroom, 2 baths. And they have a drastically improved building envelope. On the south side, you see a passive solar feature, basically a concentrator, south-facing glass house. We call it a glass house, and it has 2 sliding glass doors on either side. When it gets too hot in there, you open and you regulate the temperature just by opening and closing sliding glass doors. Simple is always better. Nothing needs to be mechanical here. And there's an 8-foot sliding glass door to the conditioned space, what we call the thermal envelope, the inside. So you basically close it off when it gets too cold out there, and you open it up when it gets nice and warm, and you let the heat come in. So this is the floor plan. It's an open floor plan design with living room, kitchen and dining room nook, two bathrooms back to back. The hot water here is actually on-demand water heaters point of use. I am aware of the fact that they are larger. They draw a lot when they're on, but they're only on for a little bit, and we don't have a bathtub here. Well, actually, this one has a bathtub, but in some of the places we don't have a bathtub, and the on-demand heaters are not a problem at all. The what was I going to say? So yeah, so domestic hot water in this case is meant by point of use, and they're incredibly cheap, and the upfront cost is very low, and it's a proven technology. Here you can see the layout. They're basically just stacked up against each other. They're separated by a carport with an electric charger, and they have a storage unit under the carport. So the way this whole thing works is that we actually look at losses and gains. So when we build a house, or when you look at a house, any house, it doesn't matter what it's made out of. If it's straw bale, adobe, SIP panels, insulated concrete forms, Thomascrete, or whatever it is, they all work the same way about. So very roughly, we have about 20 to 25% of losses, energy losses through the foundation, 15 to 20% out of the walls, 20 to 25 out of the windows. Our roof leaks about 10 to 15%, and air leakage, and that's like hairline cracks and things like that. Air infiltration is about 30 to 35%. So we're trying to curb all these losses, because when we curb the losses, we rule the game. And so the red arrows is what we have to supplement, what we have to bring in there, kick in there in order to keep it comfortable. So that's 15 to 30% through passive solar through the windows, 15 to 30% electricity, and 40 to 70% of gas. This is very roughly it symbolizes what's going on in a house, any house. So what makes this different compared to conventional built homes is basically it's quite a complex approach of 5 different elements. But in a nutshell, when I explain this to clients or to laymen that are not savvy with how houses work, I say we build a house like a thermos, so that there's no heat loss and no heat gain. And the way we do this is that we do super insulation in the building envelope. So the whole project, all these projects are what we call envelope driven. We have a significantly improved building shell with R values that are 3 to 5 times above what code requires. A code is minimum. So 3 to 5 times more insulation in the building envelope. Then we have special windows. We have triple glazed windows with insulated frames, so that the frames of the windows are no longer thermal bridges. We in our detailing, we have to make details that have no thermal bridges whatsoever. We exclude them. Then we have a requirement of air infiltration. We cut that down to almost nothing. We call it air tightness, but I prefer the term eliminating air infiltration losses. And we have to test this with a blower door test, and we have to achieve 0.7 cubic foot, 0.6 air exchanges per hour at 15 Pascal of pressure. And then we work with what's called a heat recovery ventilator. So air tightness and heat recovery ventilators, they go together. And a heat recovery ventilator is a whole house ventilation system with heat recovery. So we are actually imagine that we're bringing in cold, fresh air from the outside and we're extracting warm, stale air from the bathrooms and from the kitchens. And both air streams do not mix, but they run through a heat exchanger. And we're transporting over from the warm exhausting air 70% or 80% or 90% sometimes, depending on the equipment we use, to the cool and preheating the cool incoming airstream. So it's quite remarkable what these systems can achieve.
5 minutes.
5 more minutes. Okay, good. Real quick. So what did I do? Yeah. So we're using super efficient air source heat pumps. We have a whole house ventilation system. And what really happens is that comfort shoots up and energy plummets down, energy demand plummets down. So in comfort, why is comfort so important? I actually do not talk to clients about energy efficiency. I talk about comfort. I say, 70 degrees all the time, summers and winters, no cold spots, even in the closet. And you can sit right by a window when the snow lies outside because your windows, since they're triple glazed and they have argon filled, they are not sucking your body heat out of your body anymore, and it's completely comfortable. All surfaces are within 3 degrees of ambient temperature indoors. So in this project, and we're getting more and more into this as if we do larger or multiple units, is we're working with prefabrication. I believe that we need to get in order to get the cost down, we have to reduce the amount of custom residences and come up with designs that are actually usable for the masses and mass produce them. Same thing with cars. We don't buy a custom car, right? We choose one that is on the market, and basically here the idea is that we have the same design, and it's like a Nike shoe. It's always the same shoe, but you can get it with like green soles and yellow strings, and you can totally customize them in the details. So these panels in the factory are insulated, they're weather tight, and I love cellulose insulation, which is recycled newspaper. I'm a nut for that. I use it wherever I can, and this is what's been blown in right now in these panels. It's very easy for the contractor. They don't need to know all the ins and outs and details of a passive house. All they have to do is they bring in the utilities, they pour a slab, and the truck arrives with the pre-insulated panels, and the house like that goes in. Even the windows are already installed, and the house goes together in one day, and is airtight and is watertight. So this is, and then we have a supply chase wall that needs to be insulated after the fact. And that's just because we have a design airtightness plane that cannot be penetrated. So we have an interior space wall. We call it the supply chase wall that we also insulate in order to beef up the building shell. So this is how it looks from the inside. This is how it looks from the outside. You can see the glass house getting ready here. This is the prototype for that development. It's my own house. It's exactly the same design. It's just a little bit different. So you can see, what this would be looking like. Here I'm bringing by a lot of local politicians, and Senator Martin Heinrich came by and wanted to see this house, and said that this would be the house that he would be suggesting to build for the masses and for New Mexico. He was very impressed. So here's a bunch of variations that you can do on the same lot that we played with. And here are a couple of images of more custom designs that I do. This one has a small solar system, and it produces more energy than it needs. And now they're actually buying an electric car so that they can use the surplus. Yeah, this is an interior shot, and I believe that's it.
Okay, what about the affordability?
So the $260 a square foot for the smaller projects, for the cost-effective projects. For everything turnkey ready, yeah.
What's your website?
zeroedesign.com.
And do you only do it in Taos or all over?
No, I do it, I mean, this project was the last one I just saw, is in Santa Fe, so I have builders in Taos and in Santa Fe. I can do it in Albuquerque, I can do it all over the place, as long as it's cold climate.
Do you do retrofits?
Yeah,
Or does it have to be?
no, it can be, but we can do, we identify the low hanging fruit first. And we can't do insulating under the slab anymore,
Talk
things
like
like that.
ready to do something.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any questions from online? Okay, thank you.
Well, we can, have a few minutes of, any additional open discussion and then break for lunch. It's literally across the street. Now, I haven't eaten.
You're ready to go. It'll be, okay, so Jen Bridges here again. I went to town hall meeting last week by, Senator, Silvio Lopez. And she mentioned that one of their priorities for this year is to fix something from last year. And so it's SB 91, and it is about regulating microgrids. Apparently, they passed a bill approving microgrids at the last minute of the session last year, and there were some problems with it. So I have an article. I didn't make very many copies, but I can you know, make more, or I can email it. Senator Jeff Steinborn has introduced a bill to regulate microgrids, and which would require them, says microgrids would have to generate a minimum of 40% of their energy from renewable sources, up to 50% by 2030, et cetera, et cetera. And because right now, the ones that have been approved, say a loophole temporarily allowing larger utilities to purchase energy from microgrid owners outside the benchmarks and deadlines in New Mexico's Energy Transition Act. At any rate, so they're burning natural gas for the microgrids, for the data center. So if NMSEA can organize a group of persons to attend the Environment Day at the Roundhouse, this would be a great thing to lobby for, not just to table for, but you know, I've seen how effective this can be when worked with an unrelated project. It was a charter school. It doesn't take a lot of coaching to find out how to go around the Roundhouse and lobby your legislators. And if a constituent lobbies them, and especially if you take a little treat for the secretary, you're stuck at the top of the pile. So
we are signed up for the Environment Day.
Well,
can you come up there and help us?
I may be able to. Usually I work on Thursdays. I see this as a Thursday, but if I can get permission to switch to a Friday for that week, I could do that. But it's very important.
Or give us a one-page flyer of some sort. That'd be good.
Yeah.
We could put her letter on the website.
This is not a letter, this is an article from, Alabama Journal that appeared this past week.
Steffi has a.
Right. It was good thing to post. Search on Steinborn, and you can pull up the, article. But maybe we can email it around, we can scan it and email it around.
Steffi?
The microgrid bill is thought to be a good bill, but there's a lot of nuance about HB 93. It's not, that was not really the problem, but we do need regulation on the microgrids so that they are included in the Energy Transition Act. That's why they were originally excluded. So we don't want microgrids data centers, they have to abide by the same rules that the utilities do. That's what we want. And then there's two other really important bills. One for solar is great. Mimi Stewart has one for increasing the state solar tax credit from 10% to 30% with a cap going up to 15% to try to help the, replace the federal tax credits that have been taken away. And then probably the most important bill is the Clear Horizons bill, which does for the rest of industry everything that the Energy Transition Act did for utilities and the co-ops. So that is the number one bill we need to get passed. It codifies a lot of the governor's executive orders for CO2 and greenhouse gas emission reductions. And if we don't get that into law, then a new governor can come in and change everything, or the federal government can, change everything on their level. So that really is the number one bill, at least for a lot of the climate coalition. Also, if you want to keep up with what's going on in the legislature, every Friday, Sierra Club hosts a legislative update where they actually get information from all the different people in the climate coalition, so you can hear what progress is being made on different bills and what concerns we have about others.
Thank you. Great.
Thank you.
Any other comments? I do.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Hey, Dan.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I'm driving. I'm sorry for showing up late, but I have both hands on the wheel, and I am doing this safely. I have a couple comments about microgrids. I appreciate the fact that they are on the table for discussion. I encourage people to get on the microgrid knowledge listserv and read their industry information. A lot of the microgrids are going fully conventional with fossil fuels, nuclear is coming on board, diesel generators, and so on. So we do need regulations to make sure that they are running on whatever percentage of renewals they can. The other thing I want to point out is a conversation I'm having with a number of people. I'm hoping to eventually develop a 24-unit net zero microgrid community, and there is concern that certainly if organizations like Blackstone take over our local utilities, they're going to find creative ways to put up roadblocks to net zero microgrid communities. I have no proof of that other than one of our industry experts in New Mexico saying they're making it very difficult with permitting and throwing roadblocks up where they don't need to be. So who knows? But my biggest concern is to be faced with some kind of regulatory barricade saying, if you're going to have a net zero community, you've cut into our profits, we have to find a way to tax you. That's the gist of the issue, and I would be happy to talk about it with anybody offline.
Thank you, Dan. Yes. Does NMSEA have time and the ability to endorse some of these bills in this short session? Is our next board meeting too late for us to get behind and endorse some of these bills?
Well, our next board meeting is next week, so I don't think it's too.
Okay. Then let's work together to get some of these bills and our ways that we can support them
many other organizations are supporting him, that's great. We're the oldest organization and it's right up our mission, solar access for all. Some of these bills like the tax credit and the other one Stephanie mentioned, I think it'd be great in our next meeting if we can find a way that we can formally support these bills.
We can endorse, bills like this. We're allowed as a 501(c)(3) for 20% of our activity to be lobbying. So that's endorsing a bill. I don't see any issue.
Well, it's also informing legislators as opposed to lobbying. It's important. It's an educational. Educational.
Right, well, we're not spending any money on this, we're just throwing our weight behind it, so that's not
That's right. We're educating.
yeah, we're
And also
educating.
NMSEA, REIA, the Renewable Energy Industry Association has money to do that and is allowed to and does, and you guys can talk to them.
Yeah, we all, I think half the stuff we do is side by side with them.
Great. Any other comments from online?
I would just like to thank everybody who's been working to keep NMSA alive and thriving, and I feel really good about it. And I especially give a shout out to Walter, who single-handedly has been carrying the ball. He's just great, and he's involved in other groups too. So thank you, Walter, for all that you do and your kind and calm demeanor.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Great, well, so we'll continue the discussion on lunch. You guys at home, have a good lunch.
See ya.
All right, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Oh, pardon me. Take some magazines to your feet.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't want to take all of them.
I have more.
Oh, you did?